Hello, JP Moseley. I'm the Chief of Police for Mount Vernon ISD Police Department. Today we're going to be discussing methods and ways to stop the bleed. We're going to be discussing different types of tourniquets that we have available to us here at the school, bandaging, gauze, and I'll be doing some demonstrations on how to pack a wound or apply direct pressure and or a tourniquet or a pressure bandage. First and foremost, anytime you have a bleed that's serious enough to require bandaging, go ahead and activate the 911 system. Get 911 headed in your direction, first and foremost. Secondly, and with a gloved hand, I don't have any gloves, with a gloved hand, place a bandage over the wound where it's bleeding. We want to apply direct pressure. If the bandage becomes impregnated with blood, don't take the bandage off. Place another bandage over the top of it. If it continues to soak through the bandage, what we want to do is wrap it with a pressure bandage. What this does is keeps pressure on the wound so that you can take care of other issues. And you just tuck it underneath. That's a very simple pressure bandage. If you have a slash or a deep penetrating wound, you may be required to actually place gauze or a bandage inside the wound. The way that we do that is we just start packing the wound until we have gauze that is filled up the wound cavity. The reason we do this is there's such an open space in some of these penetrating wounds that there's no way to apply direct pressure to the cut vessels and tissue. So we have to do it from the inside. Once you have the gauze, as much gauze as you can, packed in very tightly to the wound, we once again apply outward pressure and wrap the wound again. Now for a penetrating or a bullet wound, once again we'll use a type of gauze. To feed into the wound, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is 911's job, but a person can bleed out in 3 to 4 minutes. So we want to do as much as we can for them. Pack that, apply a bandage over, and then wrap our direct pressure again. Okay, the next thing that we will talk about is the application of a tourniquet. We have several types of tourniquets. This is called the SWAT-T tourniquet. It was developed from our time in our military overseas, and it's the way to rapidly deploy a tourniquet. The way that you use this one is pretty simple. You start to wrap around the appendage, and you want to go as high up as possible on the leg or the arm. Once you get it on tight, you continue to increase the pressure as you wrap, and you can see it starting to form a tourniquet. And then you tuck this under. That's a very quick and simple tourniquet. This is called a cat tourniquet, and it's what's been used overseas and by EMS professionals for a long time. It's super sturdy. It's a little bit more bulky than the SWAT-T. The way that you put this on, you can self-apply this one, whereas it's difficult to self-apply the SWAT-T tourniquet. Get it on as tight as possible, and you begin to twist bolus, and you'll know when it's there because it's going to cause some pain. It's not comfortable. Once you put a tourniquet on, you leave it on. You leave it on until they get to the hospital and surgeons will remove the tourniquet. The reason we want to leave the tourniquet on is if we have a bleed, we take the tourniquet off, rush blood to the system, it may throw the clot out and start to bleed again. Also, the longer that the tourniquet is on, the more lactic acid that is built up in the system, and they have a very specific way to release the tourniquet to prevent just a flush of lactic acid from flooding into the body. And that is a very simple stop the bleed course. Thank you.